Hello and welcome to this video. This is my first ever YouTube video and I will hopefully release more in the near future. So please don't be too harsh regarding this video. If you like Made in Abyss or anime in general, please consider subscribing to this channel. In this video I want to show you similarities between Made in Abyss and Dantes Inferno. In the first part I will go over similarities between the layers and circles. After this I want to cover other things which are also similar. And at last I want to compare the latest manga volumes to Dantes Inferno. Dante Alighieri was an Italian poet who was born around 1665 in Florence in Italy. After he got expelled from Florence after 1300 because of the fights that inherited between the white and black guilds, he went to Lucca, where he wrote the epic poem The Divine Comedy around 1315, which describes his journey through hell. Dante portrays hell with 9 concentric circles that descend downward from Earth's surface, similar to layers that we see in Made in Abyss. Everyone that sins or rejects spiritual morals, that includes people that are not baptized, will end up in this hell. At the beginning of the story, Dante finds himself before the gate of hell, where he gets attacked by a creature, but then a man called Virgil saves him. Similar to how Rico gets attacked at the beginning of the series by a creature called Crimson Splitjaw and then gets saved by Rag, who already was in the Abyss before, like Virgil, who was not born after Christ, which is why he ended up in this place. Throughout the whole book, Virgil serves as a guide through hell for Dante. Rag, at the other hand, serves more as a protector, but still he accompanies Rico throughout the whole series. The system of hell in Dantes Inferno works as follows. The heavier the sin you have committed in your mortal life, the more brutal is the punishment. In the Abyss you also get punished more heavily the lower you descend, but you don't get the punishment directly, only after you ascend from that layer. But it is quite obviously portrayed that the dangers you encounter in the Abyss get increasingly more dangerous the deeper you go into the pit. For example, in the second circle, that inherits those who committed lust get endlessly blown away by a strong wind. In the second layer of the Abyss are strong winds, just like in the second circle, but the punishment for ascending is vertigo, headaches and numbness of the extremities. Especially the last point makes sense if you compare it to sin. The fourth circle, also called the Circle of Greed, is protected by Plutus, the god of wealth. He threatens the two of them, but Virgil is able to protect Dante from him. In the fourth layer, the heroes encounter the Oar-Piercer, who is able to nearly kill Rico before getting rescued by Nanachi and Rag. After successfully defeating Bondroot in the fifth layer, our protagonists move on to go into the sixth layer. This is also called the point of no return, because after ascending from the sixth layer, you will die. In Dantes Inferno, the punishment of the first 5 circles are rather harmless, because you don't really hurt others with the sins you commit. Like in the third circle of gluttony, that we skip because it's not that important for this video. But the sins after the 5th layer actively hurt others, and this is the point where the punishments begin to get more horrifying and painful. Now that we've covered every circle that has similarities to Made in Abyss except for the 6th layer, which I will talk about later in this video, I want to point other things out, which are also similar to Made in Abyss. The first one being, when Dante and Virgil enter the city of Dis, Virgil says that Eristo wants him to find his soul in the lower circles. Rico also wants to find her mother, who is in the deeper layers of the Abyss. Another thing that was bugging me was the fact that some of the creatures in the Abyss, like Hollows and the Oar-Piercer, can see into the future by reading the flow of the Abyss's force field. The dead souls in Dantes Inferno can see into the past and future, but not the present. This is a minor detail, but something which is similar nevertheless. Dante's journey through hell is probably a dystopia for him at first, but the more he progresses through the circles of hell, the more he accepts the punishments of these souls. He thinks the punishment is justice. Basically, Dante goes from being pitiful to being convinced that hell is righteous. And similar progress is indicated when Rico speaks to Bondroot. where she says that she can understand his ambitions. She also has no regrets when eating a creature that has just eaten an Delver. She thinks that people being killed in the Abyss is normal. The next part will contain manga spoilers for the 6th and 7th volume, so if you consider watching or reading the manga after the Irefront arc, I would heavily recommend to turn this video off. The 6th circle, which is a city called Dis, deals with heresy. Heresy are views and ideologies that are opposed to any generally accepted ideas and or in fundamental disagreement with the status quo. Oftentimes those who disbelieved in God or denied his existence were punished in this circle. One of these heretics was Epicurus, who was a Greek philosopher and said that the soul dies with the body. This was probably a big inspiration for the Abyss 6th layer, because the 6th layer is a big city called Shuro, where many hollows live, who abandoned their body, moreover switched their soul with another body. Another point worth mentioning is the whole trading system in the 6th layer city, which is also very abstract to our world beliefs. The last thing I want to talk about is the Judgment Day, which is rarely mentioned in Dantes Inferno. It is said to be a day in hell where the souls will be reunited with their former bodies, so it sounds like some special event which brings changes to hell. We also know that something happens to the Abyss and those who live there every 2000 years. We still don't know why the skeletons are praying down there and why they ended up in the Abyss in the first place. It is also mentioned that the skeletons are over 2000 years old, and they also found some that were as old as 6000 years who also prayed. But this topic is something for another video, which I will probably make in the near future. So that's the end of this video. If you liked it, please consider subscribing and liking. If you have something which you didn't like or think can be done better, please write a comment about what you disliked. I would love to hear what I can do better in the next video. And if you have any main Abyss related topics which I should cover, please write them in the comment section as well. See you!